Yo, yo, yo. What up? Happy Monday, I hope. I know how that is. But I hope everybody had a great weekend. And I don't know. We'll do the best we can to make it an amazing Monday for everybody. You know what I mean? So we're here. We're rocking, baby. Scaretober, always a great time. We got day 2 of Song of Horror to play. It's been a good time so far. Letting chat scare the crap out of me. Yeah, I saw it, dude. Yeah, I've already got it pulled up. Thanks, buddy. Yeah, I saw you hit me up, and I replied to you in Discord, by the way. I figured you saw it already, but how you doing, Tinwin? So, yeah, we'll do more Song of Horror, and I don't know, we'll have some fun, dude. It'll be a good day. Hope everybody had a great weekend, like I said, and I don't know. We got to do what we do first, and get into this video gaming news stuff for today, October 2nd. So we'll hop in there and we'll find out what's going on, what's current for the second day of October here. See what we got that's new to cover for the news, and then we'll play some more horror games. Cool? Let's go do it. Yeah, I've got it up, buddy. Thanks. Yeah. So, if that's what you're referring to, then just that initial tweet that you had pushed to me earlier, then yeah, I've got it, dude. Yep. I appreciate it, buddy. Drifter is a point-and-click adventure that's also a fast-paced thriller. What is this? We covered a lot of this. This is going to be out of the Dusk HD. Was this? Yeah. Probably part of the recent showcase that happened, I'm guessing. We'll take a look at it. We'll take a look at it and see. Yeah. This is just going to be a breakdown of like everything we already know about this whole entire like Unity situation. I've got multiple videos already up on our YouTube channel about basically breaking down this entire situation since this entire debacle occurred. You can check those out. They're on the YouTube page, and the latest thing that we kind of have seen as fallout from this is Unity's stock prices have started to kind of plummet, and expectedly so. I kind of called it a little bit there, and ultimately, here's the thing. It doesn't matter, I don't think, how much they backtrack on what they initially tried to do with basically screwing over their customers, developers that use their engine. They've shown their true colors, and it's going to be a forever image defining thing for them, and image ruining thing for them. So we'll see what happens moving forward. I think it's basically irrevocably, going to be damning for their reputation, Yeah, basically, psych. Yeah. So unless something happens where they get just to a point that their company is worth so little because the fallout continues to get so bad that they potentially get bought out by a company that can swoop in there and clean up shop and get rid of all the front office that tried to do this and prove to everybody that this isn't the same Unity that tried to do this in the first place, and they're trying to get it back to what customers enjoyed about Unity before all this happened. I don't see this ever becoming an engine or a company that a whole lot of developers care to have much to do with moving forward. So, I mean, there's plenty of information out there, all over the internet about what happened here to lead to this situation, as well as videos of us breaking down this situation as well. And it's I think I don't think anybody's blind to the fact that businesses are business oriented, and they need to make sure that they're doing everything they can to sustain and profit and continue to be successful corporations. But there's a difference between doing that in a healthy, correct manner and a way that, like Unity did, which was basically just disregarding everything that had gotten them to that point, which in large part was, their customer base and basically them just trying to railroad everybody. It was a bad situation. Yeah, it's good to see you, Psych. What's up, buddy? Happy Monday, bro. Psych's ready for this Scaretober stuff, dude. He's not missing this. We got 6 games leaving Xbox Game Pass in early October. We'll see what those are. Let's get rid of some of this sports crap, because we know it'll be riddled. Ooh, NHL's almost here, though. I'm really excited about that. Love me some hockey, baby. Yeah, the Atari 2600 Plus is coming. That's very cool. I think it's very neat they're doing that. Yeah, man. Some decent games coming here in October for Amazon Prime. Some of the first ones are going to hit on like the 5th or the 6th. And very notable. Woo, excuse me. Ghostwire Tokyo, man, from Tango, the makers of the Evil Within games and Hi-Fi Rush most recently. Very good. In the AAA gaming sphere, I constantly bring them up as an example of a great AAA gaming company amidst the, kind of like a light in the darkness, if you will. A lot of, not that there aren't some other good AAA studios out there as well, but there are a lot of bad ones, it feels like, and Tango's a good one, as far as I can tell. A very, very good one. And so Ghostwire Tokyo, man, being given away for free on Amazon Prime. And if anybody has a subscription and has Amazon Prime Gaming, that's definitely one you should be scooping up, in my opinion. What gaming console should I buy? None. Play on PC, man. Do yourself a favor and get away from the scumminess that has become console gaming. That's my opinion. Yep. PC Gaming Show is going to be coming back this November. We'll be watching that. Dude, Old Muskrat has been testing Twitch-like live video game streaming on X, formerly Twitter. Bro. That'd be a bold move for people to move over to that platform. Just throw that out there. Lords of the Fallen has gotten a new trailer. This game is going to be dropping here in what, roughly 2 weeks, and it looks really good so far. At least of what I have seen. What is this? Yeah. I'll say this about Bethesda, though. You know, that article right there, I'm not going to dive into that. It's kind of obvious that Starfield was intentionally made to be played for a good amount of time, you know? Bethesda's traditionally been pretty good, though, about balancing, like, letting people get through main questline stuff in a respectable amount of time. Where you feel like you get your money's worth. As well as, you know, it's appropriate for people that maybe don't have an just excessive amount of time to put into video games, but they also give people that option of just soaking extensive hours into the additional content games have to offer. They've always been really good at that kind of stuff, you know. Let's look at our other search here. We talked about this yesterday. Yeah, Marvel as a whole, stating they haven't been very happy with a lot of their recent gaming entries and everything. But let me be fair. I mean, they're letting EA handle two of their more you know, their upcoming releases in Iron Man and Black Panther. I'm not expecting much. It's EA. Usually things from EA are going to be like mediocre at best. There will occasionally be an EA game that comes out that's solid, but it's rare. It's just because they've got such a huge umbrella. So many companies that work underneath them and everything. You know, it's inevitable it'll happen from time to time. But I think that their best bet is going to be Wolverine coming out of Insomniac. And if they're really motivated to produce great games, they'll quit pushing off licensing out titles to companies like EA that are going to not be very worried about the quality of the content in the games, and just be leaning more on the name of having Marvel characters, as opposed to companies like Insomniac, who actually do care about making very good quality games. So I would say to Marvel, if you really do care about the fact that your games have quite often been lackluster of recent history, quit pawning off and selling your licensing out to studios that don't really give a crap about quality production, like EA. Yeah, we touched on this. So right now, there are a couple of different deals you can get on consoles if you're interested in buying in. Xbox Series X, if you buy from a Target retailer or Verizon retailer, you get your What is it? I got the yawns today. I'm really sorry, guys. Verizon, you get Starfield. Target, you get your choice of a number of different games, including Starfield. And on PlayStation, if you buy a PS5 and it's purchased, what was it, between the end of last month and October 24th, I think that's the date, then you actually get a choice of roughly 15 first-party PlayStation games, and it'll be stuff like not new Spider-Man, but the previous Spider-Man entries, Horizon entries, Demon Souls. What else was in there? God of War. There's a bunch. There's like 15. And so if you've been thinking about buying into the console world, then and specifically either Xbox Series X or PS5, then you can potentially get yourself a nice free title to go along with it right now if you get from specific retailers, or I think through PlayStation. You just have to prove you have to be a new PlayStation 5 owner. That's what it is. New PlayStation 5 owner. So you have to buy a PS5, and after you set up your account and everything on your PS5, then you get like basically your selection through the PS Store or whatever. But I'm not positive on the way that entire setup works. You would just have to do a little bit of research on it. Yeah. I almost want to watch like more of the Realms Deep showcase, because the Realms Deep showcase, we pulled up like a summary of it yesterday, and the summary had some good stuff in it, but dude, I do not think it was anywhere near all the content that was in the showcase actually. So I don't know. We might have to watch it again, or we might have to go back and watch the VOD actually instead of just summarizing this. And but it's very long. It's like a 4-hour long showcase, so we'll just have to see. Apparently the new Sonic Frontiers DLC is very tough. Awesome. Bro, Payday 3 is such a disappointment. Starbreeze is saying the server issues that Payday 3 had at launch are now fixed. We'll read about this real quick and talk about that. Apple's new devices are in a hot mess right now too. We talked about it yesterday. Funny enough, it was like 2 weeks ago. There was a lot of reports coming out where Apple was like quoted as saying they expect their new iPhones to be like the best gaming console to ever release or something. It was these weird, wild quotes coming out of Apple, you know. And then they released these phones and they're like overheating. There's issues playing games like Genshin Impact, you know. It's like yeah, this seems more like it. I don't know, man. Flipping Apple, dude. PS5 free games available to claim now with PS Plus. Take a quick peek there. I'm not huge on gaming, but they're real clickbaity, dude. Yep, Crystal Dynamics Marvel's Avengers is now gone from digital storefronts. We knew that was happening. This game was no longer going to be supported as of the end of last month. We knew that about the beginning of this year, and it's happened. It was a pretty big disappointing game there. Pretty big disappointment. This would not be a surprise either. Ed Boon teases potential horror icons for Mortal Kombat 1. They've done that kind of stuff in the past, too. Alright. What's this crap? Load up, dude. We'll see if we get that. Let's dive in here. See what we got for the day. I'm gonna go play some games. Let's kill this music. All right, man. PlayStation 5 free games available to claim now without PS Plus. Without PS Plus. To reward players for forking out the money for a PS5, Sony are rewarding them with a free game of their choice without the need for PS Plus. Oh, this is what I was just talking about. You need to be purchasing a PS5 right now, though, for the first time. Yeah, Sony treating players to offering them the chance to redeem one free game after activating their new console. Yep, I was just talking about this. Yep. It'll be games like these are first-party titles. Basically, think recent first-party titles for PlayStation: Last of Us, Death Stranding, Marvel Spider-Man, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Ghost of Tsushima. There's about 15 titles in all. I think Demon Souls is on there. There's a number of them. If you need anything out of the links and stuff to understand how you can get in on this deal, there it is right there. Okay, but that's basically a recap of what I was already talking about. Starbreeze says the server issues Payday 3 had at launch are now fixed. The company will now, quote, intensify the commercial activities initially planned. Okay, man. Here we go. That'll work. Let me just start this off. Very disappointed in what Payday 3 became. I didn't even need to play it to understand after all the reviews and everything that came out that if you were a fan of Payday 2, this was probably not going to be a game that most traditional Payday 2 fans were going to be very fond of. And that's the boat that I sit in. I loved Payday 2. I had almost 200 hours in that game back in the day, which is not going to be near as much as some other people, but I loved that game. It was a lot of fun. And I was excited about the premise of Payday 3 coming out. And it being an evolution of Payday 2 to Payday 3, because Payday 2 for me was so good. And apparently they just really jacked it up. There was so much that they changed that didn't need to be changed. There was changes, complete overhauls of systems that didn't need to be done like that. There were a lot of systems that were done very well in the first place that maybe just needed to be expanded upon, fleshed out a little bit more. And instead, they just replaced them with completely new systems that didn't make sense. And for a lot of people, I think it's been a turnoff. There's one of the other big things here, obviously, is the online-only stuff, where people are trying to, queue up for solo matches, where they're only in there with the AI-controlled partners. And it's taking them exorbitant amounts of time waiting to get into matches because of this online only stuff, where it sits there and goes looking for other players, looking for other players, when you're setting up a private match and you're obviously it's like if you're initiating the match to start, you've got a private match set up, it should just initiate it. You know what I mean? There was a lot of wild stuff happening, and it didn't feel very good. This game is around 30% positive reviewed on Steam after about a week of release, and as opposed to Payday 2, which was about a what was it, high 80s to a 90% reviewed game all time, so up from about 10 years ago. One moment. All right, sorry. So, I don't know. It feels rough to see Starbreeze do this to this game instead of, really holding on to a lot of the core of what made this game so special in the first, or made Payday 2 so special anyways. And here we are though. There were a lot of server issues. That's not all of it, that's for sure. But the issues that plagued Payday 3 have now been fixed, according to Starbreeze. The game continues to have mostly negative reviews on Steam, many of which were posted during the game's launch period where players had problems connecting to servers. Starbreeze had blamed the issue on the game's third-party matchmaking software, which it says encountered an unforeseen error which made it unable to handle the massive influx of players. However, in a new update on Starbreeze's official website, the studio says it has now carried out maintenance that has fixed the initial matchmaking issues that occurred during the game's launch. According to the update, matchmaking has been stable and has had good performance after the completed maintenance. In a statement, Starbreeze CEO Tobias Sogren added, "First and foremost, I would like to thank our players for the patience they have shown us. Our community is the engine that drives both our games and our company forward. Then why didn't you listen to the community about the things they loved about Payday 2 and changed all of it? I don't understand. I don't really need to repeat that this was not the start we wanted, but at the same time, our business model is a marathon and not a sprint. We will tirelessly continue to build Payday 3 bigger and better to deliver the greatest possible value for our players." Yeah. When the issues were ongoing, Starbreeze said it was evaluating all options, both short and long term, with the latter including making Payday 3 less dependent on online services. The game's always online requirement has been a bone of contention for the game's player base ever since it was confirmed back in July that the game would need a permanent online connection to play, even if players wanted to play solo with bots. Yep. So I don't know. I mean, cool, they got that sorted out. That was a big issue, but there's plenty more to be addressed. So I don't know. Starbreeze has got a lot of issues to work out for Payday 3, and I'm afraid that a game like this with so many issues that have been a turnoff for so many traditional fans, there's just not enough time to get it all done quick enough for them to really appeal to people to bring people back in. If they get enough addressed, even. I don't know. Feels bad, dude. Fans are calling the Sonic Frontiers DLC the hardest gameplay in any Sonic game. The Final Horizon was released last week, and it's frustrating some fans. Get good, fools. A number of Sonic fans are criticizing the final DLC for Sonic Frontiers for being too difficult. Final Horizon is the third and final free DLC download for the game, adds new story content and missions as well as other features. Players can also play as Tails, Knuckles, or Amy for the first time in the game, each of whom has their own unique powers and abilities. However, numerous players say some of the new content is far harder than anything else in the game, with some saying it's the most difficult gameplay they've ever experienced in a Sonic game. Oh. Fans across Twitter, Reddit, and various forums have been venting their frustration with some of the new challenges. These include challenges that require the player to climb a large tower with perfect platforming skills. Well, we know that I wouldn't do well there. Required and no checkpoints should they fail. And a final boss rush where the player has to defeat every boss in a row with no rings, meaning a single hit will kill Sonic. Oh, that's brutal. Yeah. A thread on Sonic Frontiers GameFAQs forum called "This DLC is way too hard" now stretches to 12 pages with numerous players sharing their stories. I've already uninstalled said Sional. I can assure you it doesn't get any easier. I had no idea this was meant to be some sort of very hard, excuse me, super challenge. I just wanted to see the alternative ending and screw around with the other characters. Yeah, that is a little bit brutal. Some players have theorized that the DLC may be a response to claims that the base game was too easy and that Sonic team may have gone too far in the opposite direction as a result. Yeah, they were like, yo, you guys think the game's too easy, huh? Well, here's your last DLC. I quote, I feel like they saw the too easy complaints and severely overreacted or overcorrected. User Bacon Bit said Sonic has never been this difficult, even the most broken games. Member Dusty128 agreed, suggesting Sonic Team made the DLC so difficult because they listened to masochist morons that complained about the lack of difficulty and severely overcorrected as a result. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think that this is a I'm pulling the completion of Sonic Frontiers Final Update DLC effective immediately. A streamer said on Twitter, "I'm going to push through it, but games are supposed to be fun. I stopped having fun at the Final Tower." That's the big thing right there. You know, video games are supposed to be about having fun, and for a game like there's a difference between a game that comes out and inherently has a default difficulty setting you can't change or anything, and you get used to that difficulty setting. Like take something like Elden Ring, a lot of the Soulsborne games, stuff like that, right? And you know what you're getting into playing those games from the get go. You know you're in for a difficult experience. There are people that love that. I'm one of those people. I love difficult games. As opposed to a game that comes out and has a kind of baseline difficulty for it, and then all of a sudden a DLC comes out and it's incredibly scaled up difficulty wise. This is a bit of a weird thing, and for a lot of people that it can be very off putting because again, everybody has their own preference of way to play games and everything, and but video games have always been about being able to have fun playing games. So you play specific games because you enjoy the characters or the universe or you I'm on a binge of yawns. I'm really sorry, guys. I don't know what's going on. I feel like I slept like a rock last night. I worked out last night too, though, and that's probably part of it. So I don't know. It feels like this could have been a cool thing for them to do for some of those more gamers that enjoy more of a challenge and are a bit more masochistic in their gameplay, experiences, and it could have been an option to turn on to play the game like this, as opposed to it just being the only way to play it. Might have been a better way to implement this. So I don't know. We'll see what happens moving forward. But yeah, they definitely were like, oh, it's too easy, huh? Here you go. 6 games will leave Xbox Game Pass in early October 2023. Those games will be Evil, Overwhelm, Shinzen I.O., The Legend of Tiandi, Trek to Yomi, and Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion. All of these games are leaving the service on October 15th, guys. All right? So here you go. If you need that list, it's in chat. PC Gaming Show is going to be hitting us on November 30th. This will be not very long before the Game Awards. I think we'd already kind of covered this a little bit. But this is popping off at the end of November, so we got roughly 2 months before we will be watching the PC gaming show. So we'll keep that in mind. I'll bookmark this, and usually the Game Awards happen around like the 8th, something like that. It's usually like in the second week of December. I think into the first week, in somewhere into the second week of December, the Game Awards will happen. So we'll have PC Gaming Show at the end of November, and then not too long after that, we'll be hitting the Game Awards. So it's coming, man. It'll be here before we know it. It really will. Problem loading page. Tried to reload it twice. Couldn't get it. So don't know what was going on there. But The Drifter is a point-and-click adventure that's also a fast-paced thriller. Let's see what this is.
From the twisted minds that brought you Peridium and Crawl. The Drifter. He saw something he wasn't meant to see.
Love that job, dude.
I can't.
Love that job, up.
Please.
So they killed him. But like the others, he came back.
Oh, God.
Back in time. Back from the dead. And something came back with him. A Drifter. A pulp adventure thriller. Wishlist. If you dare.
That looks pretty cool. So when you think point-and-click adventure, you probably think of something a bit sedate. Something you play with a hot drink near at hand while taking plenty of pauses to mull over what you're going to do next. The Drifter is not that kind of adventure game. Within minutes of starting the demo, I was trapped in a boxcar, being shot at, and shortly after escaping that, I was dumped in a reservoir with a weight around my ankles. Having to escape these situations with whatever tools are at hand makes the Drifter feel less like a mug of tea kind of game and more like a near-death experience. It's the work of Powerhoof, an Australian studio you may know from local multiplayer games like Crawl or regular human basketball, but who've quietly been releasing classic-style adventure games on the side for free, including Sierra-esque quest fantasy, the Telwinium, and Antarctic research-based horror game Peridium. In between the demo's pulse pounders, you can have a long conversation with a friendly man by a burning bin and walk back and forth between a few screens as you collect the information and tools you need to solve a classic multi-step repair the thing puzzle. There's some sections in the game where there's a lot more locations you'll be wandering around as you try to piece things together, Lloyd says, but then it goes back to really fast-paced, edge-of-your-seat kind of stuff. Trying to balance that is a big part of it. Inspired by movies of John Carpenter and David Cronenberg, as well as books by Michael Crichton and Stephen King. As Mick Carter, the Drifter of the title, you've returned to your hometown for a funeral and immediately got yourself caught up in something unexplainable. There's a murder to solve, but there's a deeper mystery than that. As you'd expect for a game that draws from Stephen King, there's a spooky side to the Drifter, with Carter seemingly able to come back from the dead, but not without bringing something over from the other side when he does. Interesting. Neat. That's pretty cool, man. I like it. It's pretty wild. Sounds cool. 10 out of 10, a Doom-like boomer shooter is getting a free Steam remaster. A free Dusk HD update is on the way as the 90s-inspired boomer FPS is set to get an optional overhaul later this year that'll improve how the game looks. Yeah, Dusk, the 90s-inspired boomer shooter FPS game from Gloomwood, developer David Szymanski, is getting a free HD update later this year. This is sure to be great news for a lot of players, especially when combined with the mod support the HD upgrade will also be getting. The full visual remaster of 90s-inspired boomer shooter Dusk is coming for free. It It will remake every enemy, weapon, model, and texture in the game. The Dusk HD update will also launch with SDK and Steam Workshop support for modders. You'll be able to download the assets from the workshop too, making all the HD content completely optional.
Kill the intruder.
It looks good. Cool. Yeah, it looks good. Dusk HD update doesn't give a specific release date, but it does say that Dusk HD is coming on the 5th anniversary of the original game for free. This means we can likely expect it on Sunday, December 10th of 2023. With an overwhelmingly positive Steam rating of 97% with almost 17,000 reviews, Dusk is a shooter you don't want to miss. In fact, back in 2018 when it was released, we celebrated Dusk's modern yet old school design philosophies, and it's a must play for any fans of the genre that may have missed it. Very cool, man. Nice. Pretty awesome. What we got on sale here? The Witcher 3 Complete Edition, $15. I think you can actually get it a little bit cheaper than that sometimes, but that's a good price. Complete Edition. I think I got mine for like $9 to $11, something like that. Complete Edition. The big sales on Steam during the year, like the winter sale, summer sale, stuff like that. You'll get The Witcher 3 for a little bit cheaper than that, I think. But it's still not a bad deal there if you're interested. Tiny Tina's Wonderlands is $20. Interesting. Sea of Thieves Deluxe Edition. Cool. Okay. Last thing I have to talk about for the news today. So it's a bit of a quick news segment, but that's okay. We had a long one yesterday, so we'll just we'll finish this up, and then we'll take a quick break, and then we'll move on to playing games for the rest of the day, man, like we always do. So if anybody has anything else to add, might be pertinent to our knowledge and updating us on what's going on in the world of video games, then let me know in chat, and we'll talk about it and address it before we move on. Okay. So yeah, so this is a shout out to our buddy Tinwin. He found this and shot this to me earlier this morning, and we've kind of kicked around the water cooler a little bit about this sentiment as well, here and there. Mostly it's been about, if Avowed does well, would we get, Pillars 3? That's kind of a lot of what we've talked about. But this is also an interesting sentiment as well. So somebody put a tweet out that was, I wonder if some of Baldur's Gate 3's success will trickle down to RPGs like Pathfinder, PoE, and Solasta. I have friends who like BG3 and would love crazy stuff like playing a halfling knight that rides a velociraptor, but the more old school presentation really bothers them. And then Josh Sawyer replied, waiting for Xbox to call and tell me they want Pillars 3 with a $120 million budget. Any day now, I'm sure. Right. So we all know that like Obsidian is currently wrapped up in developing Avowed, which is from the world of Pillars. The universe of Pillars is set in Eora, and that's where Avowed is being developed from that same universe. Unfortunately, it's right now what I know about that game is kind of a turnoff. And for many of us that have played the Pillars games, you know, we'd love to see a third entry. Pillars 1 was amazing. Pillars 2 was great as well. Deadfire, that game was awesome. I put over 300 hours into both of those playthroughs. They were fantastic. They had pathing issues. That was my biggest qualm about those games. Most CRPGs do, though. Pillars games had really bad pathing issues. But outside of that, those games were fantastic. I enjoyed them very much. I would love, love, love to have a third one, but I'm not going to hold my breath, you know? I feel like that would just be setting myself up to be disappointed constantly. And I think my bigger hope is that, like, again, like what I said before about how Timlin and I have kind of talked about the fact that maybe if Avowed does well, even though it's not a Pillars game, it's set in that same universe. If it does well, it might pique enough interest. And I think that this does play into this as well. Like, you take a game like Baldur's Gate 3, which has really, really, really shown developers that great developed RPGs and CRPGs are still something that are very, 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 can be very lucrative and are very popular among gamers nowadays, right? I think it shows Xbox and Obsidian that if they take the time to do another game in this genre of CRPG styled games, like Pillars was, they do another entry into that series, and they take the time and they do it well, and they listen to the fan base, and they shoot for some of those benchmarks, you know, that Baldur's Gate 3 has really set the bar with, then it could be very successful for them. It could be very lucrative. So I think that the combination of the potential of maybe Avowed doing well, along with the fact that Larian has shown the industry that a game like Baldur's Gate 3 can be very, very, very successful. It could prompt, you know, another entry for the Pillars series. We'll just have to see what happens, you know. Yeah, Obsidian's always got a lot of stuff they're working on. And they're good at what they do, to be honest. I think that Obsidian's a pretty solid studio. And again, what I'm hearing out of the development side of what we're going to be able to expect out of Avowed, I'm not real stoked about. It seems like it's going to be fairly limited as far as character, what you can do with your character creation and all of that stuff, and that's kind of off-putting for me coming out of a game that is set in the world of Eora, you know, and being a fan of the Pillars games. That's going to be a bit off-putting for me, but we're just going to have to wait and see what it brings to the table. And again, if it does well, there's the potential, I think, you know. I really do. Pillars games are beloved. There's a huge fan base behind them. I'm part of that. I know there are a lot of other people too, and we'll just have to see what happens. You know, I think this is a bit of a, you know, Josh Sawyer here, maybe, you know, throwing a bit of an elbow at Xbox and going, hey, 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 you know what I mean? This is all I need. You know, just 120, just 120 mil, baby. and get us a third entry into the series. We'll see what happens, man. I don't know. But yeah, I think there's a lot of people that would love it. And I would be one of them for sure. Yeah. Not really. Not really. It's not really Pillars news. Just water cooler talk, really. But, that's it, man. That's the news. It's what it is, man. So, quick news segment for the day. It's been a weird week. It was like, pretty quick this morning, really long yesterday, pretty quick the day before. It's like that sometimes, man. So, thanks to Tinwin for dropping the finding that Twitter post and giving us a little bit of extra to talk about there, man. I appreciate it, buddy. Everybody that's part of what we do on the constant, you're amazing, and everybody that was part of the news segment this morning, as always, I appreciate it very much. We're going to take a quick break here after we segue out of the news segment before we stream will stay live and everything, but we're going to segue into playing video games for the rest of the day. It's Scaretober, baby. We're going to be doing day 2 of Song of Horror. The game was a lot of fun yesterday. I had my heart about pop out of my chest 3 or 4 times because of chat scaring me, and I'm expecting more of that today. It should be a good time. So I need more coffee to wake up a little bit, to be able to probably be scared a little bit easier, but we're gonna have fun with it. For anybody that could have been hanging out and checking out the news segment for maybe your first time, or anybody that might be getting to check out the content later on as a VOD, all of our streams start off 6 days a week, roughly 6 o'clock a.m. every day, but Wednesday. No Wednesday streams. We always start off with video gaming news, and we try to stay current on what's going on in the industry before we work our way immediately afterwards into playing games like we're about to do right now. We got a great community here of amazing people. Obviously, video games is what brings us together, but the community here is just a lot of caring, welcoming, and understanding individuals that have come together to make an amazing community. Obviously centered around gaming, but it's just a bunch of cool people, man, that spread good vibes, and I'm very fortunate to have everybody be a part of it. And we're always looking for more people that have that kind of mindset come be a part of what we do, man. So all of our news segments, previous news segments we've done, gameplay, playthroughs we've done, crazy, wild, funny clips and highlights, all that stuff's out there on the Twitch channel and the YouTube channel as well, all the previous content we've done. So go check out some of that stuff, and if you're enjoying it, then I'd prompt you to come hang out with myself and all the other awesome people that are part of what we do here. Again, 6 days a week. We're roughly live 8 to 9 hours a day, starting at 6 a.m. CST, CDT. No Wednesday streams, but every other day besides that. And we're always looking for more cool people to come be a part of what we do. So other than that, happy Monday. I hope everybody had a great weekend. We are going to move on, go play some more Song of Horror for the rest of the day now. But, other than that, I guess stay healthy, stay safe, be kind to one another, and we will catch everybody for our next video gaming news segment tomorrow on October 3rd. All right.